Ring ring ring, hero simpsters and virtuarinos, and welcome back
Don't
to
do it.
Crowns. Respect me. Magical, sexy,
Don't do it.
and very seductive. But that's okay!
God damn it. What was that? Didn't you hear the don't do it? Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Anyways, good morning to you all in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's the don't do it channel. Don't fucking do it. Anyways. Whenever she doesn't like something, she says, don't do it, don't do it. And it sounds like, don't do it, like that guy from The Water Boy who goes, you can do it. And then she goes, don't do it. Always fucking sounds like that, man. That is the beauty of being in an international relationship. Anyways, we got plenty to talk about today as we do prepare for the monthly closure tomorrow night, not tonight, but tomorrow night, and a big signal kind of brewing off the backs of that and what that sort of means for the next month to come. Also, I want to cover up a very important potential failure that we could be looking at. I don't think that it'd happen this week, but it'd probably happen as soon as next week. And if it does happen, this would be the big bad bull trap that I think a lot of the perma bears are kind of looking for right now, or at least it's not that they're looking for it, they're probably hoping for. But I do think that there is, legitimate, there is legitimacy to it, which means that we need to cover it. Anyways, yeah, Rob Schneider, man. Rob Schneider is a stapler. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy, man. He's been everything. The hot chick, though, I actually did watch that as a kid, or I guess as a teenager. Fun times, fun fucking times, man. Nowadays, don't think that you could make that movie. It'd be highly offensive as, she's a real girl, right? Wrong. No, just kidding, man. Just fucking kidding. Okay, left that one slip. I apologize on that one. It was a bad attempt at humor. That's it. Anyways, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. I see a lot of our lovely moderation crew. I see Crypto, African Warlord, my good man. How you doing, my friend? I see Elsa. I see Nikki Page. What's up, Nikki Page? Good morning to you. I see Rocky G and Randy Fox. And who else do we see? I think that's it, actually. I think that's it. That's all we need for today, though. It's a nice and easy day, I do suspect. So wishing everyone a happy and healthy start to this nice Wednesday. Yeah, it is a Wednesday, I do believe. And a little bit more of a quieter day after a nice kind of early week pump. Yesterday was a range, as we kind of did suspect, and now today I would very likely be looking for a resolution on that range, actually, if Bitcoin is going to end up being bullish, it's not that it ends up being bullish, just if it's going to carry on with this current rally, we very likely do expect this to happen, likely today, but perhaps as late as tomorrow, before U.S. market closure, that being Thursday. Of course, if you are watching this in a different hemisphere, and it might still be Tuesday for you. No, we're talking about Wednesday right now, so we're talking about Wednesday closure, and then I'd say at latest probably Thursday in this case. Anyways, I got a nice big old cup of caffeine coffee with my logo on it, which I'm very happy about. And also, what I'm very fucking happy about is this. I need to show this off right fucking now on the Krown trading application. Anyone can get this. This is 100% free, although there will be a few limitations if you are on a free account compared to a premium account. We do have a trading journal now available for you. You actually can't see it on my left-hand side. Let me just see. Yes, there we go. You can barely see it where my cursor is right now. The trading journal is now officially live. We're actually gonna be adding a lot more functionality to this. In its final form, it will look very similar to the sort of Excel spreadsheets that I've been showing, of which I think I posted one on Twitter over the weekend. Let me see if I can bring that up really quickly. But for right now, this is what we got. And again, if you're a premium user, you can have unlimited entries, and we're gonna make this really nice for you, being able to sort of what's it called, organize everything in the most OCD-esque way possible, which looks pretty much something like this, which I'm going to bring into you right here. It's what I posted on Twitter over the weekend. But basically, this is how I typically test my strategies, going off of all of these different metrics right here. Anyways, as of right now, we have a lot of that, but there is more to come, more importantly. So keep an eye out for that. If you're on a free account, I do believe you are limited to either 10 or 20 entries. And yeah, there you go. And anyone can get that right now. I should address something with the Krown trading application. Anytime that we do a new update, there does seem to be some issues with people kind of getting into like this loading screen of death, basically. And the way to solve that issue is to press 3 keys on your computer keyboard, very specifically Control, Shift, and R at the same time. If you hit Control, Shift, and R, then you will get around that loading screen and be presented with this in front of your face. So there you go. And like I said, a lot more updates with this to come, of which I'm very, 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 very excited about, because it's just going to look prettier than this just bland numbers over here. But hey, there you go, man. I'm going to take this off my screen so that we can get that out of the way. And what else do I want to talk about? I think that's it for right now. I'm going to get into the Bitcoin analysis soon enough here. I want to take a few more sippies of this, so I'll just read the chat in the interim as I waste a bit more time. But I got a little bit more to take down right here. And if you're wondering why I'm back on the caffeine, it's simply because this goddamn hour change for daylight savings time just completely wrecks me, man. 1 hour of sleep change, whether it be to the upside or the downside, just different. It's not as good. I don't know why we do this stupid thing. It was implemented for like World War II way back in the day to save energy. We don't have these issues anymore, although maybe World War III is right around the corner. Hopefully not. At least from what I read, it seems like things are starting to calm down, which is good. I'm very, very much in favor of that. And the only World War III that we have potentially going on right now is your opinion of Will Smith versus Chris Rock, which seems to be so fucking incendiary across the internet webs. It's very fucking interesting to read about this, man. People seem to have some really, 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 really intense opinions about it. And, well, it seems quite simple to me. Someone made a joke, someone got slapped, life goes on, man. Life goes on. He doesn't want to press charges. Okay, let it roll by the wayside. Not a big deal, man. Not a big deal. Yeah, Elsa says, oh my God, nobody cares. Sir, you are speaking as a normal European person who is not consumed with the behaviors of celebrities that they've never met and never will meet, very likely. But that is not normal nowadays, man. We need to put our opinions on TikTok and also post all sorts of amazing things on TikTok, of which I see them every once in a while because I peruse the YouTubes from time to time. This guy's channel, it's like this boomer who makes commentary on very funny TikToks. His name is Odin's Men. And you just see like the fucking most interesting people of all time on that. But yeah. Anyways, I need to finish up this coffee and then we'll get right into it. Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. That's right. It was very destructive in solving the Civil War, World War II, and also slavery as well. I think I think other than that, pretty destructive, pretty bad. No, of course not, man. I wouldn't be as naive to think that violence is never warranted. Of course, at some point, violence needs, probably is the right answer at some point in nuanced situations. Obviously, it's not the first sort of, port of call, right? But at the same time, I think that we'd be naive to say that there is no role ever for violence, obviously, as that's kind of what we come from. Anyways, Will, that's from Will Smith. Fair enough, Will. Fair enough, man. You know what? You're a great actor. Fair enough. It's like, what am I gonna do? Fucking criticize Will Smith, one of the best actors of all time, very, 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 very accomplished. Like, what have I done compared to him? Nothing, man. Nothing. But here I am sitting on my fucking couch. Fuck you, man. You're a loser. You're a pussy. It's like, I would have never done that. It's like, yeah, you also didn't ever win, a shit ton of awards. So let's let that one go then, huh? How about that? Men in Black was great, but I think it's a little bit too scary for Elsa. She's very easily turned on her side there. Anyways, not an easy day. I have to do my crypto taxes for the first time ever tomorrow with my accountant. Yikes, the blind and blind. Yeah, the problem with crypto taxes is that even your accountant, like very few accountants even know what the fuck to do as well. So it's like, oh God, this thing's already complicated enough. Just cross your fingers and hope for the best, basically. Anyways, they took a page from Vince McMahon. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the WWE guy? Man, that guy is legendary. Will Smith is my role model. We'll just go ahead and give my boss opinion his way. Fair enough. That sippy sip was a gulp. Yeah, man, it's this is actually quite tasty coffee, and it's it should be like some shitty gas station coffee, honestly, man. I drink like the shittiest of coffees, and I think I'm just very easy to please, man. I've never met a coffee that I don't like, and I've never met a protein bar that I don't like, and I've also never met a piece of meat that I don't like as well. Anyways, I think that's good enough for the time being. Let me set up my charts over here to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. I want to make this recording a little bit more on the shorter side, and then we'll get into the comments. Okay, so I want to start with the monthly right here. Then we'll go into the shorter term timeframes. Maybe reference this chart over here for the millionth time if that's relevant. But definitely reference this chart coming at the end of the month as well. Okay, cool. I think that is where we're going to be starting. And then maybe we go through the lower term timeframes at the end. Okay, cool. All right, so here we have, starting off with Bitcoin, of course, the monthly look, of which we are going to be closing a monthly and a quarterly actually in just about a day from now on the 31st, or at the 31st, which is going to be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So a lot of this is really a setup for the next month to come in April, of course, as I referenced the title of this video. Anyways, the next biggest signal that I'm kind of keeping my eyes on that essentially does suggest and essentially have targets a little bit higher than what we kind of postulated before would be the monthly look right here on the monthly RSI, of which we do have a drive of hidden bullish divergence building as of right now. This will be confirmed with any sort of a closure here or higher by end of month. Again, that's going to be tomorrow night, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, or 0 UTC is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to turn off the alert sound for right now so I don't get too distracted. And the reason why I'm calling this one out is because if this does get confirmed, this does actually have a deeper technical target than what we were sort of considering before. The technical target would be right around here from the open of December at around $56,500 to $57,000. Obviously, that is very much in alignment with what we have seen from the momentum versus volatility chart over here, which has been essentially suggesting a similar region or area of interest to that in the past. Like, I guess we kind of been referencing that for the past couple months here, but this would be another further confirmation, and that would be actually the first target based upon that. The secondary target would actually be in the shallow $60,000 territory. Obviously, it has a lower probability of being hit, but as Bitcoin sort of proves itself, and again, keeping in mind that this probably is not going to happen today or tomorrow, nor even the beginning portion of April. If it's going to happen, probably late April, early May in this case. That would start to be more and more relevant. Anyways, also to that point, seeing as we do have a monthly closure coming up relatively soon, I want to reference the fundamentals chart over here, of which, once again, the big focus on this one is the accumulation distribution indicator right here. The only thing that I care about on this indicator is slope changes in typically the extreme zones, that being the extreme green and the extreme red right here. And with that in mind, I'm also just been aware by I think it was Mr. Mark B actually, that slope is apparently a derogatory or racist term. I don't have any sort of, that's not my intention with this. I'm just making a mathematical term, the slope of this indicator. Anyways, in this case, we did, or what I should show you first is all the slope changes in the past, of which we have seen many, and these do correlate to the macro scale. So they're not going to be like the perfect timers, but they get the general trend incredibly well, basically since the dawn of time for Bitcoin. Okay, I really need to put this sound down now. I do appreciate the comments, of course, but I do want to try to remain focused. Anyways, I've marked off all of these slope changes with these green vertical bars right here, as you can see, over the past 12, 13 years, and they have gotten the up and downside moves incredibly well actually on this asset. Anyways, in this case right here, the reason why I'm calling this one out is because we did get a slope change to the upside after being downward slope basically since the midpoint summer of last year, 2021, and that happened coming in from February to March. And so if this does remain with a positive slope coming into the next month, April, which we don't have data for that just yet, we actually have to literally wait for the closure for that to happen, but so far so good, I would imagine, especially seeing as this month has been up like 10,000 or more, probably does remain up, I would guess, then that would increase the probabilities that we do see, a more long-term upside market emerge over the course of, the next quarter, let's say. Anyways, there is one major pushback to the statement that I'm making right now, and I also want to go over a humongous invalidation, something that I think is really, 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 really important to understand, because if I am going to be bearish, there is a really good reason to be bearish right now, or not right now, but potentially not this week, but next week likely. Anyways, first, let me get through this point, and that is the slope change right here. We do not see this one happening in a critical zone. We see it happening, in the shallow region of the green zone. The only other time that we've seen something relatively similar to this was back on over here in September of 2016. This was in this area exactly right here. Let me get on my drawing tool. There we go. Boom. And you can see that Bitcoin was putting in a bit of a short-term correction, relatively speaking, to the monthly, but long-term continuation. So the low was already in on the slope change from red to green over here. And that one led up all the way from $600 to $20,000 price per Bitcoin, just about a year and a half to 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years later, basically. Anyways, Bitcoin's gonna have a chance to continue with this, coming into the month of, of April. And if that does happen, I just essentially look at the probabilities of upside macro continuation as getting, greater and greater. And we probably do see that $60,000 plus target, maybe late April, probably more around May if I had to guess if it's gonna happen. But here's the thing, I wanna offer up a humongous point of interest for a potential major bull trap in this case. The reason why I want to bring this up right now is because, one, it's no secret secret. Everyone's fucking bullish or most people are very, very bullish right now, as you would typically be after a big, bad, girthy green dildo 2 weeks in a row. But ultimately, things don't go up in a straight line. And so I am very much anticipating, probably a 20% pullback at some point, probably if I had to guess right now, probably around the mid 50s. But if this, what I'm about to speak about right now happens before that, probably around midpoint of next week, if it's going to happen at all, then I would immediately switch to major bearish and, probably looking for big bad moves down to 30,000 and maybe lower than that over time. And that would be this. We do have on the weekly look right here, a pretty good setup, to be fair, but there is potential for hidden bearish divergence between this point, which was your December highs, and this point that Bitcoin's at right now, obviously making higher highs on the weekly RSI. So with lower highs on price action right now versus higher highs on the weekly RSI, that does present the case for that. Here's the thing though, you cannot, or at least I cannot confirm hidden bearish divergence in this case, and another lower high to be fair as well, until Bitcoin confirms a local high right here. So what would be necessary for that to happen? Well, Bitcoin would need to come back down next week, likely. I mean, technically it could happen before that, but probably not. I think if it's going to happen, probably next week, it would have to come back down below specifically $44,500 and close a higher term time frame below there. So that is to say that essentially as long as Bitcoin is above that level on a major higher time frame, I have not really any major bearish things to be speaking about, just short-term pullbacks which likely do lead towards long-term continuation, because as we've been looking at on this chart over here, the probabilities still remain with the upside, specifically with this 5-day chart of which we've been referencing many times, with the 5-day BBWP getting down into these teen zones right here representing volatility, and that move has produced on average a 45% move either to the upside or the downside from that expansion point, which we are getting as of our last closure and will be confirmed doubly for on tomorrow night's closure, also going to be the monthly as well. And typically takes about 40 days in this case. Anyways, if we do apply that move to the upside, $56,000 is the area of interest, to the downside is 23. And again, the bias that I've been using to the indicator that I've been using to generate a bias on this is the 5-day stochastic momentum, of which it has been pointed northwards, actually about to get in the bullish control zone for the first time since, November of last year when it was just freshly leaving it. And this is, a rather potent signal, I do expect. So I do still put the probabilities on the upside continuation again, just with that major caveat in mind. If that were to happen, I do get quite bearish. Until then, I'm just looking at, potentially short-term time frame pullback. So let's follow up on the last like 24 hours of price action. We did say very likely a short-term range between about 48.3 high and about 30, or not 30, 40. Jesus Christ, man. And about $46,000 low. And that's essentially what we've gotten thus far. So far, so good. And Bitcoin actually is looking like it's going to try for another move to the upside, probably today or tomorrow, as I did say. I do actually expect that if we are going to end up seeing Bitcoin bullish, which again, I think that the probabilities are on that side for the reasons stated earlier, and especially on the last Sunday's video for the long-term analysis, I do essentially think that that's what's happening. And we do expect that to happen probably in the next, at least before tomorrow night's Thursday's closure, again for the monthly as well. Anyways, in this case right here, the full hour is starting to show signals that it is ready once again. We see full hour BBWP incredibly low. I think that it stays a little bit low here until we do see US markets open later today at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then we very likely do see another try to the upside here. In this case, I would validate a continuation move with targets in mind towards probably 50,000 plus in the following, in the following week. If we do see a full hour closure, specifically above about 48,500. The reason why I'm getting this, the way that I'm getting this, is based off of this chart right here. Several things, in fact, and one of them would be, if I can pull it back, would be the 0.5 Fibonacci extension, of which Bitcoin right now battling around the 382, and we did get a closure above that the last couple days, so I do look at that as good. This is kind of our first pullback, and the basis being set. Again, I want to be very specific with this. As long as Bitcoin's above $46,000, I do look at this just another higher low. I have no major concerns as long as Bitcoin's above there. Any sort of an hourly closure below $46,000, I do look for that $44,500 to $45,000 level to be tested, which is very important, as we spoke about before, because that's what puts Bitcoin in a potential area to confirm that bearish scenario. Until then, again, I do look, generally sideways and up, I do suppose. For what it's worth over here on the daily BBWP, still, trending up here, so it does suggest that the move is still in progress, but but not in any extremes just yet. And I do expect this to get, at least to 85 percentile, preferably higher before I start to call like a major consolidation and pullback from those levels. Until that happens, I do think that, generally things are just going to kind of float upwards and onwards here. Also of interest, the daily RSIs. We said yesterday, getting its first pullback after getting in the bullish control zone, which is very, very normal. We just want to see it hold in there. And again, we haven't seen the daily RSI on CME get in the bullish control zone basically since October, November of last year when Bitcoin was on that major tear from 40 to 69. Anyways, should probably go over this as well. Also in alignment with these technical targets to the upside, we do see this as an ascending triangle, which did get confirmed above $45,500 or basically $45,000 on that daily closure a few days ago. And that does have a technical target all the way up towards $56,000. Very much in alignment with the monthly, very much in alignment with the momentum versus volatility chart, very much in alignment with several other things as well. And one of them being the 618 Fibonacci retracement. This is a bearish retracement. So again, if I am looking for areas of interest for potential major pullbacks, the 0.5 just below 52 and then $56,000 are two major areas. And I do think that there will be major pullbacks from those regions, probably around 20% from one of them, not both of them, but probably one of them at least. If I had to guess, it's probably gonna be the 56 one, assuming that Bitcoin gets there to begin with. The reason why I say that is because open interest is incredibly fucking high right now. For reference, the global open interest is basically at 1420 billion, of which, to put that into perspective, that is similar to what we saw way back on over here in April of last year when Bitcoin was basically at its prior all-time high at $65,000, and comparable to what we saw earlier, or sorry, not earlier, but in the late part of 2021 in November when Bitcoin was putting in its highs, in the deep 50s, low 60s in this case. So those represent leveraged positions, and that does suggest that a lot of people, if we see any sort of an unwind from that, whether it be a bit of a liquidation cascade, as everyone knows that this market is typically quite over leveraged, or whether it be just people taking profits, creating a bit of a cascade, there's going to be a pretty intense unwind from that. Historically, over the past 2 years, when we've seen it get above 14 billion, the pullback from those regions after, a major local high is confirmed has been at minimum 20%. So if we go back on over here and let's just kind of play around with numbers, let's say that Bitcoin, gets to 56, which again, that's kind of a stretch for right now. And then it pulls down, 20%. Where does that put Bitcoin? Basically puts it on a gap fill actually at 45 or so somewhere around there. And I do suspect, or I kind of have this little doodle drawn out right here, maybe something like that. Probably going to be at least a medium term pullback at somewhere around 51, 52. But for right now, again, things still look generally good. Anyways, I think I have spoken your head off enough. I didn't really do too much on the lower term timeframes. Do we have anything else of interest? I'm sure that we probably have some hidden bullish evidence starting to print over here. It's not there just yet, according to Caretaker's RSI, but I imagine on the next try up, it's going to start to look like it at above about 48 again. As far as that goes, let's go check out short-term timeframe stochastic momentum. We do see 6-hour stochastic momentum way the fuck up there. Again, it's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but if we do start to see it come down below like the bullish control zone, that would be concerning. Anyways, 47,500 going to be the pivot to the downside for the 6-hour. The 4-hour is going to show 48 to the downside. The 3-hour is going to show 48 to the downside as well. And the hourly is going to show up above about 47. So again, could be probably a bit more sideways within this range until U.S. markets open. If we are going to see continuation, that's kind of where I look for it, around U.S. market open. And I'd look at that as a confirmation of about 48.5. And then I'm generally looking over the next week or so towards 51, 52. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Bitcoin, sirs and zers. Yeah, sweet. Nice. All right. Let me take a sippy sip of this water over here. Daily Gaussian channel. All right. We can go look at that, man. Let's see what you're building. Let's see what you're bringing up right there. What are you looking at right there? Yeah, it's above it. It's probably going to turn green relatively soon. Also comes in at one of those or around those critical numbers. In this case, about 44. I'm not really getting anything super unique from this, to be honest with you. Maybe on CME right here, but again, that's just going to cover up the short-term time frame bottom side range, so 46. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm not necessarily seeing the uniqueness of the results here, but it does add further confluence, so that's great. That's awesome, man. Anyways, I'm going to sip up the rest of this shit. Mr. Brandon, Mr. Ira Brandon. You know what? I completely whiffed on that. Thank you for bringing that up, ma'am. Thank you for bringing that up. I completely whiffed on that. I'll turn back on the alerts here as well. Let me just flip that one on. Let me get rid of this Elsa smelling in the background, because why the fuck? Yeah, so we've been looking for essentially continuation of the downside. I've been saying somewhere around about 360. Looks like that move is somewhat in progress. I do think that this one's actually getting ready for a bounce here. I would actually disagree with you. I think you said on the 4 hour, it looks like it's about to fall off the cliff. Probably going to retest around 379, 380, but I actually do think you're going to bounce somewhere around there. I'd actually disagree with that, but generally speaking, I do think that this is heading lower still, 360-ish region. That's kind of where I'm looking towards, and that's where I'd be expecting a greater bounce if this one is going to end up being long-term bullish, which would be rather concerning. But for now, we did confirm the regular drives of bearish divergence, so bounce probably does equate towards a lower high, is what I would kind of be thinking right there. Yeah, the 5 days pretty much there as well. You're very likely, you're very, very close to a bouncy region right here. I think you're basically there, actually. Anyways, let me pull up the chats over here. Okay, I got maybe one more sip left, and then I got some water as well. Is good. Is very good. Let me get baby Yoda over here. He's gonna hold my phone, so that's good. Can't hold it myself. It's too fucking heavy. Anyways, all right, cool. I think we got Webby first. What's up, Mr. Webby? Tesla weekly and monthly. Okay. All right, let's check out what Tesla's doing here for the old Elon Musk. And yeah, man, I believe we said this one was finding a major low here, especially off of that confirmation of one hidden bullish divergence right here, volatility headed up, and also just a massive bullish engulfing dildo as well. I do believe that last week we said a 1,000 plus was likely, and that's, I mean, we've not just gotten 1,000 plus, we've gotten 1,100 now. Pretty fucking good right there, I would say. Look, I do think that you're going to pull back somewhat soonish around, 1,100 to 1,150 or so, but long term, monthly, I mean, this is fucking good. I'd have to be bullish coming into April, likely for a new try around prior all-time highs and maybe even new all-time highs. Hidden bullish divergence will be confirmed with any sort of a closure. Any sort of a closure above 950 will do it, let alone fucking 1,100 right now. So yeah, man, I'm probably looking up and to the right coming into April, assuming that gets confirmed. But for right now, so far so good, with just another 2 days left in the trading month. So yeah, very, very good right there. If you do see a pullback in the interim, probably looking somewhere around 1030 to 1040-ish region, give or take. You are starting to hit extremes here on daily BBWP. Daily RSI, again, getting the bullish control zone for the first time in a while. So probably looking at a pullback relatively soon. I think that you probably have one more try to the upside first, around about 1150, and then pull it back maybe somewhere around 1050 or so, and then sets it up for a potential continuation coming into April. I'd only get bearish on this one below 950. Below 950. Anyways, Aaron Partridge says, good morning from Canada, Krown. Hey, good morning to you, man. Must be late as all hell for you there. Or maybe you're on the West Coast. I was hoping to get your thoughts on XRP4 on daily. Oh, now you fucking done it. XRP, huh? All right, let's see it. It was actually one of the better looking charts, funnily enough, a couple weeks ago. So let's see. Did it follow through? It is following through. And let's see. Oh, hold on. You're asking for a 4 hour daily. Also one is... thanks, man. Yeah, man, I'm really humbled by that, but as always, actually that's exactly the right sort of mentality. I want us to be surrounded by, enabling all of us to help ourselves learn and grow. Exactly, man. It's like I'm just sharing, stuff that I'm looking at, stuff that I've learned here. So whatever you're doing with that, you're doing on your own. So yeah, exactly. You are doing it. That's awesome, man. That's fucking awesome. Sweet. Anyways, XRP. It's kind of got a very similar setup to Bitcoin here. I do think that it's going to try again towards about 90 cents, but technically speaking, you do want to see it close just above 90 cents on a daily for that next sort of continuation drive into the 105 to 110 region. Actually, for right now, I'd be remiss not to call this out like I did on Bitcoin as well. Technically speaking, you do have potential hidden bearish divergence in play here if and only if you come back down and close a weekly or even a daily below about 81 cents in this case. Do I think that's what's happening? No, I don't think that that's what's happening. I think that you're putting a major low right here. It's also a higher low compared to your July lows, so your summer lows of last year, and then also very, very low volatility with momentum oscillators generally pointed up. I mean, the weekly jewel started to turn green on the DMI a couple weeks ago as well in middle of March. So I'm probably biased towards this one, generally going up towards 105 to 113-ish region, probably into April. Looking at the monthly, yeah, I mean, it's not that, it's not bad here. Let's actually see what the quarterly looks like. We didn't even look at a quarterly on Bitcoin, but yeah, this is fine right here. This is fine right here. I'd really only have caution below about 81 cents in this case. Personally speaking, I think that you're going to give another try up towards 90 to 91 cents, any sort of a closure above about 91. And I look for that next move to happen in sometime in like mid to late April. Take another sippy sip of this. I know that you asked about a 4-hour as well. 4-hour short term, looking for another move up towards like 88 cents or so. Only invalidated below about 84. Cool. All right. What's up, Sarvo? T Fuel, US. Oh, dear Lord, man. Okay. T Fuel? What the fuck? Theta Fuel. Theta Fuel. All right. What happened to Theta, man? Nobody talks about that thing anymore. On the daily, definitely weak, relatively speaking. But if Bitcoin, Ethereum, the major ones go up, this one's probably going to be dragged up with it. Just not going to be as strong most likely, but it is kind of difficult to be looking at this as a potential major, maybe even macro low, as long as you're below about 23.35. And I would actually confirm this as humongously, phenomenally bearish below about 18 cents on a daily closure. Until then, I'm going to go with market analysis over individualistic analysis here. I do think that this one probably tries back around that region. And then above about 23.35, I do look for like major moves to the upside from there. In this case, targets up towards the mid 30 cents would be relevant in the following weeks. So kind of a long way of saying that, I give it the benefit of the doubt as long as you're above 18 cents. Below 18 cents, very fucking bad. Very likely coming back down to your, March lows and maybe even lower than that. Just be another lower high and very fucking ugly, and another drive of hidden bearish evidence on the daily as well. But for right now, I think it's better to kind of err on the side of giving things the benefit of the doubt, simply because of what Bitcoin and a lot of the majors are doing. In this case, so that's what I'd be saying about this one in particular, but definitely not strong on its own, and definitely not wouldn't be like my pick, for example. But hey, man, to each their own, right? Crypto Chrissy, good morning to you as well. Could you please check out Waves? Okay, yeah, Waves. Okay, Waves is super interesting. One of my friends, Mr. Coop, was telling me that this thing is, it's doing this. Holy shit, man! Holy shit, girl! Daily and weekly. Well, the monthly, you don't need me to tell you this is fucking good. You don't need me to tell you that this is good. Anyways, coming into like early portion of April, if it does want to pull back anywhere around low $40 is fair game, but that's not like a pullback call. This is obviously bullish, very likely gets continuation of new highs into, mid late April and probably May as well. I think you also asked about a daily, perhaps. Yeah, you did ask about a daily. Daily, I look at this move as actually continuing, in the short term as well here. You are starting to hit extremes on daily BBWP, and it's usually when I see two extremes relatively close to each other where you go into a much more prolonged consolidation. But I have a feeling that this current one right here, you're going to see it get maybe close to, maybe even hit 100 percentile. And it's not until you get back down below the moving average on this where I look at that as like, okay, it's very, very likely to go into a contraction and consolidation phase after that. But for right now, actually look for that to continue. Do you have any like targets on this thing? Well, I guess I could come up with them, I suppose, based off the macro structure, because it is a macro breakout after all. So might as well do that. Let's see what is relevant to the upside here. I mean, you're already hitting the 2.618, which is $58. So it would be quite likely to pull back around there, maybe make a short move up into the shallow 60s first. But then I'd just be looking at higher lows between about 46 and $51. Yeah, definitely the best chart that we've seen today. Wow, really impressive. I don't have any major concerns about this in the short term, as long as you're above like 33, which is not helpful because that's very far away. But that's kind of I guess that's the prize with dealing with maybe the best breakout that we've seen certainly today or in a while as well. So yeah, nice one. What's up, Jesus Canto? Route. Okay, man, you always come up with like the new ones, huh? Route. Okay, route. What the fuck? Router protocol. Is this decentralized routers? Like, what are they going to think of next? Not a bad move right here, though. I would be looking for a general pullback, actually pretty much kind of where you're at right now, $5.50. It might get one more spike around there, and then I'd be looking for this one to trade a bit sideways and down and try for a higher low, anywhere above actually 420 in this case. And I would actually be long-term bullish on this one as long as you're above 420. So I'm kind of wrapping up my thoughts right there. It's like short term, probably one more try, maybe even a little bit higher, probably a pullback from there. Any sort of a higher low above like 415 to 420 is fair game for more long-term continuation, maybe into late April, early May, something like that, or around 6.25 would be the next major area of interest. And then I think I'd probably want to see it again from there. It's like getting way too ahead of ourselves. If you're on a full hour, for example, again, you're hitting extremes right here, but I do think that this move probably has one more try higher first. And then I'd be on the lookout for something resembling bearish divergence on 4-hour RSI. You don't have it just yet. But once you get that, I'd be looking for the pullback and then probably continuation into April. Again, actually one of the better charts that we've seen today, which is very, 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 very interesting. Especially with an altcoin that I mean, never heard of this thing before, and it's only been around since January. But definitely not. I mean, it's definitely relatively strong compared to most things that we've seen, especially in the last few days. So pretty interesting one right there. Very bearish below 415 though, but hey, for now, okay. Gabe Patel says, can we see a 4-hour and daily on SGH on NAS? Okay. SGH. All right. Smart Global Holdings. Great clickbait name right there. Earnings coming up and seems to be bouncing from $25 support. Okay, so here's kind of a general rule of thumb for earnings is that strong stocks, like good stocks, they rally into their earnings. Bad stocks, they fall into their earnings. But here's the thing, man, and here's honestly something that here's honestly something that like I could not emphasize enough. When it comes to earnings, when it comes to these sorts of things, nobody fucking knows anything. And personally speaking, when I was trading traditional markets, I would turn off my systems for like the last half day before the earnings and wouldn't trade it until after the earnings. The problem is with earnings is that you can have great earnings, you can beat your expectations, and the stock will still go down, and vice versa for the upside. And sometimes it doesn't work like that. It doesn't fucking matter. There are so many games to be played with it, and the bots that are trading the the news pieces from that, they're so much more faster and sophisticated than anything that you could possibly imagine. So to me, I don't think that there's much of an edge towards that. If I had to call this chart just as it is, it's actually a pretty good chart right here, and probably does try to the upside somewhere around about 29.25. If you get a good earnings spike up, maybe even as high as like $32, but I would be looking for pullbacks anywhere around there. Other than that, I don't think that there's any real reason to be bearish on this thing. Kind of what you're referencing as well, as long as you're above about $25 on a higher time frame. On the weekly, you got hidden bullish divergence building up right here. I'm generally going to be biased towards an upside try. Probably off the backs of that earnings report, but it's I can't say anything more than that, because when it comes to earnings, like nobody fucking knows anything, and trading that is a monstrosity. The time to trade earnings is the day after, when market opens up again. That's when a lot of easy trades can be had, not before then, in my experience. Anyways, Hoax says, whoa, okay. Crypto Strategist says, hey Krown, long-term. What is that? What is that? Oh, you. Hey, Krown, long-term subscriber here. Sweet, man. Since 2018. Holy shit. It'd be cool to get your thoughts on the launch signal I created. Can skip to 150. I appreciate that, man, but I'm not going to go to your video on this particular video right now. I wouldn't be familiar with your indicator anyway, so I wouldn't know how to interpret it. And I don't know what to make out of that, to be honest with you, man. I do appreciate your sentiments there, but I just wouldn't have an opinion that's worth anything really with that. So maybe I'll check it out after the stream, but I think that's best I can do for right now. Anyways, Hoax says GMT 1 in 4 hours. Shout out to anyone else that bought it 3 days ago. All right. I remember you asked about this one on Monday, right? Let's see. First off, I'm curious what I said on Monday. Oh yeah, this was a super new one. It's like, yeah, it's good, but I'm never going to have a strong opinion on something that's this new. It did go up, so that's great. pretty damn good though, man. I think that you probably do extend this run a little bit more. You're probably going to see extremes here on 4-hour BBWP. And then I'd probably be looking for a big pullback. Hourly's really getting there already, so probably one more try to the upside, maybe even a new high as well alongside that, but very likely a big pullback after that. Other than that, I don't have any opinions on charts out of this new, really. Anyways, Gabor says, "Good morning, sir. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Could you please check out LRC on the 4 and daily and give continuation signals?" I can't give continuation signals unless if it's having continuation signals, but I can look for them if that's what you mean. What would be a continuation signal here? I think that you're actually already kind of getting it, to be honest with you. Just like Bitcoin, I do think that there, as always, there's going to be, or there needs to be some way to kind of talk about, potential bull trap. In this case, that would be below about 106 would be the confirmation for myself. Until then, this actually looks, this looks fine. Short term, bit more sideways, I do suspect, but very likely does try again higher. Basically just a long way of saying, hey, as long as you're above about 106, I do look sideways and up on this one. Maybe into April, probably looking somewhere around like $1.50 to $1.60. Until then, 106 would kind of be my bias buster for that on the higher term timeframes. 4 hour, yeah, it's just, it's sloppy, but it looks like continuation to me is what it looks like. I think that if you're looking for like the signal, you're probably looking at this area right here, which was 124, which closed above actually yesterday by a ball sack hair by about 4 cents. So not bad. Anyways, let's see. Leia Rich says, hey, sorry, actually I skipped a few. I apologize on that, Leia. We'll get to that after I get to the people before you. Oh my God, I skipped a shit ton right there. Anyways, Amadeo Ciano, what's up, man? FIL USD 4 hour, sure. Okay, so this is Filecoin or Filecoin or... All right, 4 hour. Yeah, no one's asked about this in a very long time, and well, looking at the chart, I can see why. Okay, so what sticks out about this one is that you basically retested your macro lows, or what would be resembling macro lows, on an asset that's only been around for like a year, and getting a pity bounce from there. But hey, man, that's fine. If you're just on a 4 hour, as you did request, definitely weak, definitely relatively weak to everything else that we've seen today. I do think that you're generally going to oscillate within this short-term range here, between about 28 and a half to the upside versus about 23 and a half to the downside. Anything between there is okay, but I would not call continuation to the upside until you actually close above 28.50 or 28.60. At that point, I would be looking for big moves up towards about 32 to 33 or so. By the same token, to the downside, I'd call a major bull trap below about 23 and a half with targets down, to 21-ish dollars, maybe even more. And again, whenever you see something that's kind of relatively weak like this compared to the rest of the market, if Bitcoin shows weakness, this one will get hit a lot more aggressively. But for right now, you kind of have to give everything the benefit of the doubt, based off of the majors, at least in my opinion. BK says near USD on the 4 and daily and weekly. Okay, near US derp. All right. Really good here. Really good here. I know that we looked at this one on Monday, and it's basically looking like it wants to break out again. I'd be looking at next target somewhere around 1535. Let's see. And you're on a 4 hour daily and weekly. What does the weekly look like here? Yeah, weekly good as well. I'm sure that you had another drive of hidden bullish evidence right here. That actually has targets a little bit higher as well, coming into early April, I suspect. One of the better charts we've seen today. This would be relatively strong. I don't have any reason to even suspect a major bull trap as long as you're above about 1260. So until then, I'm looking up and to the right. Look at daily BBWP. It's just expanding above 50 percentile, and all momentum oscillators are essentially suggesting continuation. One of the better charts that we've seen today, no doubt about that. Jay Header says AMP daily and 5 day. Okay. On Gemini, thank you for giving me the exchange as well, because I know that this one's like a little bit difficult sometimes. 5 day right here. We have an ever so slight drive of regular bullish evidence, which is very close to being confirmed above about, what is this, like 2.8 cent or something. Definitely not an example of one of the strongest, I would say. If the rest of the market bounces, you find Bitcoin around 50, maybe even $55,000. I think you see three and a quarter to maybe even as much as 4 cents even, but definitely weak on its own. Short-term time frames probably gives another try towards 2.8 cent. wouldn't really call any major breakout here until you're at least above like 3 cents on a daily closure, and even then, I would just be looking somewhere around 4 cents. Yeah, definitely not super strong on its own, but I do think that it's going to try up here alongside most things in this market. 5-day and weekly are basically the same thing to me. I can tell you where I'd say that this one is long-term bullish again. Be back above about 5.7 cents. Kind of far away, more than a 2x from here. But I do think that in April you probably try to the upside there. Adam Kellane says nothing, but thank you for that, man. No, go down. All right. No, I still don't see anything. Let's see. No, I don't see anything. Sir, I went all the way down. There's nothing there. There's nothing. Oh, there. Oh, okay. I see other ones. Okay. We got some frustrations. Jesus Venegas says EFI 4 hour and daily. Okay. EFI. Okay. I guess CoinEx is gonna be the one to go to. Like, these shitcoin exchanges are getting really strange here. Anyways, you're looking at a 4 hour daily. Definitely not great, but I do think that this move does continue up into early April, somewhere around 70 cents or so. Yeah, daily's putting in a low right here. I actually daily's about to break out probably as soon as today. Volatility about to expand from very, 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 very low levels in daily RSI back in the bullish controls, and even the daily jewel is about to give you another signal as well, most likely here. Probably tries around 70 cents. If things get really crazy, maybe like 85 cents or so. Other than that, I'm never going to like a chart that generally looks like this. I mean, here's the real chart. It's actually not too much different, but I do think that next move is up. And then I'm looking for macro lower highs. Anywhere below $1 is going to be devastating. But yeah, for now, tries probably again to the upside here. Really big girthy green dildo on the 4 hour, however, and I do think that this is going to continue from here in the short term. All right, Kyle McDonald says, Deuteronomy, what's up, man? Could you scope Zill? Okay, Zilliqa. Okay. Oh, Jesus, man. I haven't done this one in a very long time, so let's refresh the chart. There we go. Pretty good move there. I do think that you're probably going to try a little bit higher in the next few days, maybe around like 13 to 14 cents or so. But I'm starting to see extremes here on daily BBWP. So I would be looking for a pullback after that. Pullback, I would just be on higher low watch. Anywhere above 10, 11 cents is completely fine. I have no reason to be looking at this as a potential bull trap as long as you're above 8.5 cents in this case. Other than that, I'm generally looking, up into the right, probably into April, somewhere around 13 to 18, not 18, but 13 to 14 cents. And very likely a nice pullback from there. Long term, really fucking sloppy chart, but could be worse, I guess. It's not like the worst 2017 shitcoin, right? But I would also not get super bullish on this one, like macro bullish on this until you do see like a weekly closure above about 14 cents. At that point, I would be looking for big moves up somewhere around 20 cents. But for right now, short-term continuation, then looking for a pullback somewhere around 13 to 14, probably closer to 14 if I had to guess. Cool. All right. Malik wants to look at Moon River. Moon River. Great fucking name, huh? I think it's MOVR is the ticker. I'm actually not too familiar with this one. It is, I know, says Elsa. All right, cool. On Binance, fucking awful. What the fuck is that, man? Maybe KuCoin has a more long-running chart. Just as bad, but now we have a bit more, a bit more color on this one in the sense that you're basically retesting your macro all-time lows. That's not a sign of strength, and this is certainly relatively weak and certainly a piece of absolute fucking garbola long term. But does it try upside with the rest of the market? Probably yes. The daily jewel is actually getting another fresh signal as of a couple days ago on the 28th. It's barely following with the rest of the market, but I do expect that you test somewhere up around mid to low 90s. There is nothing resembling a macro low here though until you do see at fucking minimum a daily closure above 120. At that point, I think that you see a big rally up to like 169, maybe even $200. But still, I'm never going to be bullish on a chart like this. It's extremely likely that on whatever rally that you see here on the rest of the market, that this one just puts in another weekly lower high. But it can get quite high before that happens. Like I said, maybe even as much as $200 if shit really gets crazy in like April, May. But for right now, I don't think that I should be beating the drums of hopium too much. I just kind of play it range by range. And here's where I'd get phenomenally bearish on it. Phenomenally fucking bearish would be below about 61 and a quarter. Until that happens, I think you're generally going to see up and to the right here alongside the rest of the market. If that were to happen, then get ready for new lows and just this is fucking garbage, man. This is just absolute garbage right here. Anyways, Adam Killane, he's gotten back to us now. He says GameStop. All right, yeah. So I remember this one hit our long-term macro like year or two target to the downside, somewhere around like 70, 80 bucks. We've gotten that. And then we said on Monday, after looking at it, bounce to the upside. See, I forget where I said that bounce likely comes towards, or I guess I have a trend line here, so maybe around 190 to 200. I guess we've kind of gotten that. Again, like if you are going to see a major bull trap here, this is where you would expect it to come from, but it would not be confirmed until you do see a weekly closure below 145, essentially, or even a daily. Until that happens, you know, I kind of do have to be bullish on this. Yeah, based off the monthly as well, kind of have to be bullish on this one, try and higher into like the 230s, maybe even 250s in April or maybe even May. But for right now, just be aware that if it does come back down and you see it back below, I want to get there very specifically about 140, about 141 in this case. You know, I'm going to be generally bullish until that happens. But below there, that's where I get very, very bearish. I mean, you know, it's pretty reasonable to think that this one is played out, probably played out its full correction. I mean, that's 84% down. Yeah, it's 84%. I mean, that's enough. I think that's enough. It's probably enough. Should try some upside from here is what I'd be thinking. Cool. All right, we got Christopher. No, we got Malik again. Super Farm KuCoin chart. Okay, so we got Elio shitcoin over here. Super farm, but I think he just released his thing, or he released his thing. The thing got released, so he's making progress there, which is cool. And I know Elliot personally. While I'm not involved in his project, I can speak towards, you know, his personality, and he actually does seem to really, really care. Anyways, as far as charts go, not the best chart in the world. It's not the weakest chart in the world. It's also certainly not the strongest as well. Weakest chart goes to that Moon River, highly esteemed piece of technology. But in this case, I do want to see at minimum a daily closure above about 91 cents. At that point, I do look for this one to trade back up towards its mid-January highs at about 120 ish, let's say, somewhere between about 116 to 120. Until that happens, I am generally going to be bullish on this one, but similar to Bitcoin, I do need to have a failure point, and that would be specifically below 72 cents on a daily closure. As long as you're above there, essentially, I am looking for this one to try up and to the right. Any sort of a move back down below there on a daily closing basis, and phenomenally fucking bearish. But for right now, you know, I generally think that the market is going to try some upside. Yeah, not the strongest there, even in the short term as well. 4 hour time frame. Probably gives another try towards about 82 cents or so. Yeah, building up some hidden bullish evidence right here on Caretaker's RSI. Other than that, just looking for a bit of sideways, another try to the upside, and see if it takes out 91 cents or so and initiates that next target. If that starts to happen, then this one's really going to start to look like it might actually have the macro correction just about over. Full on macro upside would like full on bulls, balls, bull market shit. That's above like 195, $2, but you know, one step at a time here. And, you know, again, just easy to watch Bitcoin. If Bitcoin heads down, this thing's going to get crushed. If Bitcoin heads up, you know, probably hits those targets. Sweet. All right. We got Christopher Corey next. He says Chainlink daily breakout, pullback soon. Let's see. I mean, that's generally what most of them are looking like, but let's see. What's Chainlink doing here? Again, a laggard, you know, relatively weak here, but not the worst, And yeah, probably does try upside here. This is not actually the daily breakout the daily breakout happened a while ago. If you're playing the medium-term time frame ranges, that was at like 15 and a half. No, this is continuation right here. This is not the breakout just yet. So pullback, I wouldn't really be looking for a pullback until at minimum you're like 1870 and perhaps even as much as like $20 on like a quick spike. And at that point, I would be looking for a pullback into a higher low. Again, you know, I should offer up like major invalidation, just like Bitcoin below about 44.5. Same thing for this one below about 1560. Until that happens, I'm generally looking for this one to try up into the right here as well. Weekly, you know, you've got a nice low end. I do think it's going to try up probably around $20 in April, perhaps. Maybe it was 20 to 21 in a quarter or so. Long term, it's hard to love as it is right now, but I suppose that we can take it one step at a time, and you know, for now, just looking for a bit more continuation there. I would disagree that it's going to pull back soon on any respectable time frame if you're on, and it sounds like you're on a daily. If you're on a short-term time frame, now it's continuation here as well, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, cool. Master Toki says, could you please check at least 2 of these? Nope, just 1, sir. That's how we Finna. Okay, Finna. All right, this sounds amazing. Finna. Is this even on TradingView? It's not on TradingView, man. So we'll have to choose. I'm going to go with XCAD because I know that one's definitely on TradingView. They all kind of sound like shitcoins, to be honest with you. But hey, maybe I'm just being a grumpy old man. Yeah, another relatively weak piece of shit chart. but man, okay, maybe we try ALU. Like that is just ugly as fuck, man. Look, if Bitcoin heads up, they're gonna head up. Oh my god, could you choose a fucking chart that is not shit, sir? Please. Look, it's probably gonna go up from here, but these are just garbage charts. If you see shit like this, it's bad. It's fucking bad. Why is it so low?
No, the sound.
Oh, would you like, you know what it's not doing? You know what this thing's not doing? You know what this thing's not fucking doing? It's not going to the fucking moon! Banned from the moon. Look, this is absolute piece of shit, garbage, gutter, bullshit here. So what garbage shit chart looks like. Is it going to go up alongside the rest of the market? Yes. It's probably going to go up a lot as well. But these charts that typically just go down like this, they're very, very likely to just put another lower high in the macro schedule. I think best case scenario, let's say Bitcoin goes to like $55, maybe even $60,000 in the next few months. You might see this one in like in the shallow 20s, but for the love of God, man, you don't need to trade these pieces of shit. I don't know where people even like find out about these sort of things. You know, both XCAD and I'm sure the other one that we couldn't figure out as well, or pull up on TradingView as well. You know, they're very likely to trade up alongside Bitcoin, but the second that Bitcoin shows weakness, they're going to get absolutely fucking shredded. These are just garbage, man. These are just absolute fucking garbage. But hey, it doesn't mean that you can't make money from it. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying, you know, be aware. Like, I just imagine that people who are into stuff like this, they're being fed with these like narratives that, oh, it's being under accumulation by the whales who are just selling it down because they're trying to trick you. It's like, no, man, this is garbage. No, it's fucking garbage. But probably going to go up here. And probably going to go up a decent amount as well. Anyways, Jesus Venegas says Alice USD. Okay, Alice, huh? Alice. Has a great shit name for a chart. It's not as bad as the last one, but still pretty bad. Still around macro lows. But just like the last one, very likely going to extend the run here. Very likely going to see somewhere around like 835 to 840. I would not call any major potentially macro low as long as you're below about 985. But for right now, very likely try some upside from here. You know, but I have the same thing to say about this one. I think any sort of a move that just fails to get back above like $13, it's just another macro lower high. But for right now, probably tries up towards, you know, probably actually does try up around like 9.25, maybe even guns for like $11 late April. But these are just not impressive long term in my opinion. I know that you asked about a 4-hour as well. You know, it's continuing here. I mean, this short term very, very good. I mean, just like the other last few ones that we see, 834, 835 regions where I'd be looking for. Cool. Adrian Rene says INJ USD daily and weekly. Okay. INJ USD. Okay, Injective on, I guess, Binance maybe. I've heard this name before, but I don't know anything about it, and it is another shitty chart. Holy fuck, man. It's just shitty chart after shitty chart. Again, another chart very likely tries up here. Very likely tries around like 6.5 to 660, I would imagine. If you're on a weekly. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, long term, very difficult to love as long as you're below like, what is this, like 12 bucks. I do think that this one could actually test around like $8, maybe even like $9, somewhere around $8 to $9 in the next month or so. I should offer up an invalidation as well. Humongous invalidation, extremely fucking bearish below 570 until that happens. Up and to the right, man, you got a higher low right here, and it's been beat up enough to the downside. And you know, as long as Bitcoin heads up, you're gonna see this one do the same thing as well. Anyways, Leo Rich, now we're here. Hi from the West Coast. What's up? Can you please take a look at Solana short to medium term? Okay, let's see what Solana has over here. I grew up on the West Coast myself, but it seems like you might be Canadian and I was American, or I am American, I guess. Daily, I'm looking for this one to try some more upside, somewhere around about a buck, or sorry, not a buck, 120 to 122 region. Like very short term, I look at a 4 hour. I'm looking for continuation here. Probably retries like 115 to 116 short term. I have no reason to invalidate short term upside as long as you're above about 104 and a quarter. Or sorry, let's just make it 106. 106. If it does start to violate that region, I do look for a pullback down to 100 base first. But for, you know, generally on the daily and generally as most of these have gone, I'm looking for some upside. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see this one you try like a big move up towards 150 in like the next month or two to come, but it doesn't sound like that's relevant to you if you're on the short and medium term. Anyways, Luna Daily says, Chris DC, okay, I got you. In fact, this one would be worth recording. Man, we haven't recorded a single video today. And very, very good here. Here we have Terra Luna symbol LUNA versus the dollar. I wanted to do a follow-up on this video from the last one on Monday and the one before that, the last prior week, and the one before that, of which we've been saying very likely a move back around prior all-time highs at about 103 or so. And then upon validation above about, what was it? About 103 on a daily closure, I would be looking for continuation to new all-time highs. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, the drive of hidden bullish evidence confirmed on the daily RSI since we last spoke, and volatility expanding off of the lows, which is a really, really powerful signal. Daily Jewel, also another fresh signal a few days ago before the breakout. So I am generally looking up and to the right here. Fibonacci extension based off the prior macro base, and also a technical target based off of this as an ascending triangle formation, short-term-ish, you know, maybe for the next week to week and a half, looking somewhere between about 118 and a quarter to 125 or so. I would be looking for maybe a short-term pullback from there, but long-term there is actually a macro higher target. Oh my God. Okay. Maybe go to a weekly instead. There's a macro higher target, assuming that the weekly does confirm above about a $1.03, which so far so good, but it is still another 4 days left in the trading week to go. And that would actually have, you know, a much higher implied target, closer to like 190 to 200 bucks in the next month or two to come. Let's go check out what stochastic momentum looks like over here upon that break, and then offer up an invalidation as well. But for right now, very, very good. Yep, daily stochastic momentum did play off the trend line that we've been having since February, early February, and it's going to be upside angled as long as this one's closed above 97.33 weekly. Vertical above 70, 5 days going to be vertical above like 85. Yep. Monthly is still up above 93 as well. So, you know, this one is going to pull, you're probably going to see some pretty decent pullbacks relatively soon, but I do think that this one does try higher before that happens. Short-term timeframes, bit of sideways here is fine. But now we need to talk about an invalidation, and where would that essentially be? That would be below, what is this, 94 bucks. Or if you want to be super safe, then 90 and a quarter, which probably should run with that. If you do see below 90 and a quarter, I'd say that there's going to be one massive bull trap and you're going to see big bad moves down to like 70 to 75. But for right now, you know, it's among the best charts. I think we saw one other chart which was just as good or maybe even slightly better, but this is, you know, again, among the best charts that we've seen today. And then I think the weekly kind of just speaks for itself here. Hidden bullish divergence, back in the bullish control zone, back above the exponential, volatility expanding off of, you know, relative lows here, and weekly jewel support for like the last month and a half. So I'm going to I'm gonna likely say up into the up into the right, assuming that invalidations don't get hit. So pretty damn good. Short-term timeframes, a little bit of sideways here is fine. Below 102 would be short-term concerning, likely be getting another move down towards 98 to 99, but it's not. I don't know if that's super concerning to you or not. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Luna, Sirs, and Zers. Okay, cool. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Yes, I did. I missed Julie Keen, you're a nutritionist. Nice. Near on the 4 on daily. I think we did that one. I think that was also one of the better ones. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was one of the better ones. Yeah, I really like this chart, actually. Looking for short-term and daily continuation here. Probably looking somewhere around 15 and a quarter-ish region. Maybe in like the next few days to a week. Long term, over the next month or so. I mean, it's actually, yeah, it's among the best charts. Hidden bullish evidence right there on the weekly. Volatility on the lows. Weekly Jewel also pointed up. Probably looking more towards like 17, maybe even $20 in April. But yeah, one of the better charts. As always, needs an invalidation. That would be below 1260. So as long as it's above there, I am looking up and to the right. Below there, big bad bull trap, and get ready for some girthy red dildos. Mrs. Julie. Sorry, couldn't help myself there. Okay, I think it's time to close the chats. Did I do who? Oh, no, I did not. Okay, sorry, Joe 89K. Lazio. All right, this is, I've never heard of this one before. Okay. All right, it is, let's see what we got. All right, yeah, we're gonna close the chats. Again, I do want to express appreciation. God damn it, man. The fuck is this? Another garbage chart. It's just garbage chart day. Look, it's probably gonna try some upside. Probably gonna try 5 and a quarter, maybe even as much as like $7 in April. I'd be very fucking bearish below 370. Until then, most things in this market are going to try some upside. It looks like to me. Be aware of where the invalidations are. But again, a relatively weak chart. Very, very new chart as well. I don't have strong opinions on things like this. You also didn't give a time frame, so I don't really know where you want me to go with on this one. But ultimately, probably does try again to the upside. Just hard chart to love when you don't have too much history, and the history that you do have, it generally goes down. But hey, fair enough. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Did Elsa pin my message? All right, where's your message, sir? And Dogemon's here. What's up, Dogemon? I'm waiting for your message. It's taking some time to show up on the YouTubes here. There we go. Lazio is a football club. Oh, okay. All right. So, well, it seems like their supporters are not supporting all that well, but yeah, I do think that you're going to try up here. Probably does gun for like 7.5 to maybe even like $9 late April, something like that. All right, sweet. Let me get back on over here, and let's see. We got what? What do you mean no? What do you mean no? What do you mean no? Okay, very good bad boy. Hello. Hey, Krown, can you check out Soul by Phantasma on the long term? I don't know what long term means to you, but I'm guessing that means like a daily or weekly. Not as bad as a lot of the, oh man, that, I guess this was like the last time we looked at it over here. That is the bull trap zone, and that's why we want to be aware of the bull trap zone. Holy shit, that actually worked out really, really well. Anyways, not super strong, relatively speaking here, but just like other things, it's difficult for me to be bearish on any one particular asset. I would like to offer up like a validation for major bearishness. In this case, it'd be below about 122 and a half actually. Until then, I'm generally looking for things to try some up and to the right. This one definitely on the relatively weak side of the scale, however. I mean, this would be a phenomenal place for another lower high, honestly, but I won't call it super bearish until you're back below, at minimum like 123. Let's call it 123 on a daily closure. Until then, maybe a bit more sideways, maybe tries back up towards like 145, 150 or 150 or so. But I do not feel super confident about this chart. I should be very, 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 very forthright with that, because it's certainly on the relatively weak side for right now. But I have to go with market analysis here. It's just very unusual for things to kind of dump off if the majors continue. And in this case, kind of have to say the same thing. So sideways here is kind of a win for this one. Long term, hard to like, very difficult to love long term as long as you're below like 211. If that's what you're concerned with. Above there, I'd be happy to say, it's long term bullish. The massive macro correction is over, and it's up and to the right, back around 390 to probably major new highs after that. But I think that's very, 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 very far away, and probably not going to happen. But I shouldn't say that. There's no way for me to know. And over a long enough period of time, I mean, it's definitely possible. So I take that back. Anyways, BK says Netflix USD or NFTX. Okay. Oh, this must be like some sort of a those fucking JPEGs that cost a lot of money. An NFT. Yeah, an NFT. It's got to be. Is this like an NFT index or something? That's actually a pretty cool idea. Weird looking chart here, but it does look to me like it's putting in a low. If this is indeed the one that you said Gate Exchange. Sorry, I apologize. Still pretty similar right here. It is very likely putting in a low, but short term, like macro low, but short term, I do think that you're going to range down a bit after kind of hitting your range highs in this case. But anything above 120 or so is fine. So I would be looking for you to trade a bit more sideways here, maybe try a little bit lower, somewhere around 130. But as long as you're above 120, I do look at this as, I actually do look at this as potentially a macro low here. Confirmation of a macro low is a little bit further away. I would keep that one there actually, but in this case, macro low confirmation is above about 250. Short-term upside continuation confirmation above about 185, 186, 187 region to that 230 to 250-ish region. But for right now, look for this one to trade a bit more sideways and probably test some downside and put in a higher low. But again, don't confuse that with being like bearish on it, looking for a major failure. That I confirm that below 120 on a daily. Until that happens, it's just okay here, but probably consolidating for a while. Allison Westbrook says OGN 4 hour. Okay, all right. OGN, Origin Protocol. Let's see what this guy's got, or girl's got. Never know nowadays, but well, obviously it is a girl asking, but I'm talking about the chart, the asset, the inanimate object is what I'm talking about. Weird looking chart here actually on the short term. I'm guessing this thing just doesn't trade too much. Looking at the volume here. Yeah, it doesn't really trade too much, but it's not like the gutter of the gutter, and it's certainly not like the weakest chart that we've seen today. In fact, it's not even that bad at all. In fact, I think that you're probably putting in a major low here. I would unconfirm, let's say, a major low below 56 cents on a daily closure. Until then, I actually do think that this one is going to try back around your 81 to 85 cent highs. I know that you asked about a 4 hour, so we'll get to that in a second here. Yeah, I'm generally looking for this one to play out of range here, and probably does test back around like 80 to 85 cents or so. After that probably pulls back a little bit more, but ultimately, I just don't have anything really bad to say about this chart as long as you're above about 60 cents. Until then, I'd be looking for it to trade sideways, probably test another upside move towards like 80 to 85 cents. Other than that, I don't really have any strong opinions on it. Would be a really good place for a lower high if it was going to fail, but again, I wouldn't say that's likely until you're back below about 60 cents. Crypto Moods says, "Oh, you got some kids, nice. That sounds really creepy." Chili's CHZ. Got some kids, nice. Just referencing the avatars there. I'm a creepy creeperson. How could you say that to me, sir? It's me. I'm not creepy. Just have pictures of kids on my avatars. Anyways, sorry, bad fucking joke right there. Look, I'm not suggesting that I'm a pedo. Anyways, 4 hour and daily and weekly. Not bad right here, actually. Yeah, this one's actually pretty good. In fact, and just kind of like taking a second to explain this one, you can see that it's held massively above its macro lows in this current cycle over here. That's a good sign compared to a lot of the 2017, 2018 shitcoins, which did not, came back down to those lows. This one did not. Anyways, I'd be looking for this one. Yeah, you're on a 4 hour daily weekly. Be looking for this one to actually try up towards like 35 cents or so. Yeah, pretty good right there in the short term, I suspect. Daily, same thing. I would only invalidate continuation of the upside below about 26 cents. Until then, you know, it's among some of the better charts actually. Up and to the right, short term, I do think that you're getting ready for a pullback relatively soon. I want to see this get a little bit higher on 4-hour BBWP, probably like 95 percentile plus, you know, which could happen somewhere around like 34 to 35 cents or so. But yeah, one of the better ones actually. Yeah, monthly pretty good here as well. I do think that this one does try higher into April basically. Let's see. Crypto Kafchin says LRC. Did we? I think we did that one. I'm pretty sure we did this one. Yeah. No, did we do this one? 4-hour and daily. I don't recall. Yeah, I do recall. Yeah, I do recall. Yeah, we've already done this one. Still looking up and to the right here. I only get bearish below about 106, 107. Yeah. Short term, bit of sideways. It's fun. Entry now or wait for Bitcoin pullback. I don't know what your fucking strategies are, man. I don't know if you're looking to scalp like just today. I don't know if you're looking to hold this for the rest of your life. I've no fucking idea. There's no way for me to answer that question. And the reason why I'm being a little bit more direct and maybe even coming off as harsh is because you're probably going to ask that question to just people thinking that they know better than you. That no one could possibly know better than you what your personal strategies are. I have no way of knowing your trading preferences just from a very incomplete 2-sentence comment on YouTube or 3-sentence comment on YouTube. I appreciate your compliment. Great. I do appreciate your compliment. But at the same time, you know, just be careful because you're probably going to ask that to other people. And at some point, someone's going to give you an answer and they have no way of fucking knowing, just like I have no way of fucking knowing as well. Anyways, Jay Header says scale daily and weekly. Okay. I think we've looked at this like way back in the day. Okay. It's on Coinbase. Can't be that bad. Daily and weekly. Probably does try for some more upside, probably somewhere around quarter to 26 cents or so. I would not call like a macro correction over until you're back above like 33.5 on a weekly. But for right now, I do think that this one will try higher into April. I would only validate like a major bull trap below about 16.5 cents. Until then, you know, I generally think that you're going to try higher here. Probably getting ready for a bit of a pullback relatively soon as you are hitting extremes on BBWP. But I do think that implies maybe one more try to the upside first, then pull back, and then maybe another try in April, perhaps. Something like that. Hamza says DVPN. Okay, this is definitely a new one. DV Sentinels. What the fuck? Okay. I hope that was helpful. No, this one's been banned from the moon. And wow, just when you think you've seen the shittiest chart of the day, this one wins the shittiest chart of the day award. Amazing. Look, even if Bitcoin goes parabolic from here and you see it go to like 55, $6,000, best case scenario, this one does the upside is like, I think best case scenario to the upside is maybe a cent. And even that would be a humongous stretch. Like that is hopium by fucking definition. Probably more like half of that, like 0.6 of a cent. Just awful, man. Just fucking awful. Worst chart of the day award. Zach Maher says 13K. How do you invest it? Appreciate the hard work, boss. I don't invest. So that would be my answer. I don't invest, man. I trade. 13,000. I don't fucking invest. I don't hold these shit coins or anything like that. I do hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. But again, man, I have no idea to know what your preferences are. I don't know what invest means to you. I don't know if like how long that period of, I'm guessing, hodling would mean. There's no way for me to know that, man. But if I'm generally giving out my opinion, look, you're asking a person who mostly thinks that things in this market are scams. 90 to 95% of things in this market are scams, which is better than a few years ago because it used to be like 95 to 98% of things were scams. But it's maybe not even scams. It's just like they're worthless. Like this thing, this is worthless. So, you know, that's also the thing, though. Just because something is worthless and intrinsically, you know, fundamentally just garbage doesn't mean that it can't go up. You can still make money on it, obviously. But for me, if I had $13,000, how would I invest it? I would invest it in myself by like not putting it into any market and trying to learn in the meantime. And then once I feel like I've learned whatever I'm trying to do, because it doesn't really seem like you have an idea just yet, which is fine. I mean, you're probably new, which is exactly what's going to happen. then I'd go in. But until then, I don't think that anything that I'd say on YouTube would be appropriate for just that. You know, if I'm just giving you what I would do with it, I'd probably put into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'd probably do like 60-40 or 70-30 split in favor of Bitcoin. But you also have to understand Bitcoin's probably not going to have the major gains that other potential coins can have. Then again, less chance that it fails long term. So, you know, that's preferences. I can only share mine. I have no idea what yours are. 413X says, hello, sir. Hope you're well. Hope you're well as well, man. Can you please do Dent? Sure. Do it without any time frames. No problem. I'll just read your mind, sir. No problem at all. Probably going to try some upside from here, and actually not as bad as a lot of the other charts that we've seen today, which is rather interesting. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one try somewhere around like maybe around 4 cents or so. Long term, I still would have like some well, I'll just say that. Again, I don't know what time frame you're talking about. I can tell you where I get very bearish on this one. Very fucking bearish, below about 2.8 cent on a daily closure. Or sorry, that's like 2/10 something like that. Short term though, I'm looking for this one to continue. Probably back around the highs of this rally and probably continues from there as well. I mean, this is fine. This is fine for now. Alice, yep, we got that one a couple times, I think. Ryan Bolden says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Could you give me a short-term analysis on EGLD? Say, okay, 30 minute. There we go. We got a time frame. This is great. This is amazing. It's fucking phenomenal. 30 minute. Okay, cool. Up, man. I'm looking for this one short-term, somewhere around like 198.25, maybe as much as 199.25. Not bad. Not bad in the short term. And daily probably continues here as well. Very bearish below about 175, but that's not relevant to you, it sounds like. So cool. Or whatever you think is prudent. Yeah, that's fine. It's up to you, man. It's up to you what you want to look at. Jesus Venegas says Ave 4 hour and daily and weekly. Okay, this is something that I know we haven't looked at in like, it's got to be four months plus. Pretty good here on the 30 minute. Hold on. Let's go to the daily right at the 200 simple. Good place for a short-term pullback, but that's, I think you kind of already got that actually yesterday or this morning. I'm actually looking for this one to continue a little bit more, man, somewhere around like 235, maybe even like 240-ish region. Daily again. Well, this is a weird looking chart long-term, but hey, you know, it does hold above its 2018 lows better than most. So where would I call like a major continuation move? I'd want to see it get above 245 on a daily closure. And at that point, I do look for big moves up towards 280 to 290-ish region. Yeah, kind of a weird chart long term. And I guess we had some sort of a falling pizza here a long time ago. Let's see if we hit the target on that just yet. Because if not, that would be, oh yeah, we're like literally right at it. So I do think that you're getting ready for maybe one more try to the upside, but probably a short-term pullback right after that. You're starting to hit extremes here on 4 hour BWP. So yeah, maybe one more try to the upside, very likely a pullback from there. Again, I don't have any major concerns with this one long term, as long as you're, I mean, Jesus Christ, as long as you're above like 170 to 175. So pullbacks can come down, you know, quite deep. You know, maybe 190 to $200, but that's just another higher low. So yeah, kind of a strange one right there. Thank you for bringing back the ride. Fun times, man. Fun times indeed. Spike Keystone says Solo USD 4 hour on Gate.io. Okay, Solo. Hey, this is a new one for me too. Gate.io. Sologenic. Another shitty chart, man. Wow. Another shitty as fuck chart. Holy shit, man. This is a 4 hour, so it's not as shitty as some of the other shitty charts that we've seen today, just because it hasn't been around as long, but it's pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. 4 hour. All right. I do think that you're going to try some upside from here, probably around like 33 cents. If things really get crazy in like early April, you know, maybe in like 34 to 35 cents, but it's just, I'm never going to love a chart that only goes down. Above 35 cents on a 4 hour closure, you probably got a pretty big rally in store, you know, probably sometime in April if that were to happen, with targets up into the, you know, 40 cent region. Whoops, almost dropped my ring there. But other than that, never going to like a chart like this ever. But I do think that things are generally going to try to the upside here. So yeah, I don't think I have anything to add on to it other than that. I mean, even on the short-term time frames, it looks pretty fucking weak. I wouldn't call this one super bearish though until you're back below about 32 cents. So I hope that was helpful. But yeah, really new charts like this is I'm typically not gonna have a good opinion on to begin with, so just trying my best there. Jay Header says rec daily and weekly. Okay, REQ. Request network. All right, great name. Daily and weekly. Okay, that's an hourly, maybe not relevant to your interests. Daily, I would call a major bull trap below 24 cents. Until then, I'm probably looking for another try to the upside with areas of interest around 32.5 cents, maybe even as high as 38 cents into April. Again, this is kind of like par for the course for a 2017 shitcoin. You know, retested around his 2017 highs, rejected. It's not like it's certainly not on the good coins list, certainly not on like the super shitty, awful, terrible coins list, but you know, I generally think that things are going to try higher here. Another drive of hidden bullshit burns come off the lows. Weekly Jewel also pointed up, probably going to look up in April, somewhere around like deep 30s, maybe low 40 cent region. Just be aware of where the invalidation is. BJ says GALA. Okay, GALA on the hourly and derpy. Okay. Or the 4 hour in the derp. Yeah, I remember we looked at this one earlier, like last week, and correction was kind of looking like it was over. I kind of stick with these same sort of sentiments here. Do you think that you're going to try higher, probably in April, somewhere around 30 to 34 cents, perhaps? I would validate a major bull trap below 20, basically a quarter. But until that happens, man, I'm looking for this one to try again short term towards those 28 to 29 cent highs, and probably continues. Most things in this market kind of looking like that. But this one is on the short term a little bit more on the weaker side, I would say. Let's see, what about a weekly? Really not enough history there to give it a look. Yeah, I'm not really getting too much from the very high term time frame. So I would express, again, extreme caution below about a quarter on any sort of a respectable time frame closure. Until then, kind of give it, as with most things, the benefit of the doubt. Very bullish, however, above 38 cents. Very, very bullish above 38 cents. If you can do that in like April. I Can Trade Stuff says CRV, 4 hour and daily. Okay. CRV, curve. Yeah, we haven't looked at this one in a long time, ever since basically it failed that $5 number, like way long ago. Again, generally have the same things to say, man. I do think that you're going to try again higher, somewhere around $3, maybe even like three and a quarter. I would call like a macro low in actually above about 350. It's quite far away, but you know, it does need to be said. And I'd also call a major bull trap below about 240. Until then, I do think that you're going to try higher from here. Weekly kind of shows a nice low in place. And I do think that next moves to the upside, probably around like 340 to maybe even as much as 370 or so in April, and then come back to it after that. But technically speaking, this is kind of fitting the bill as a corrective move here. So while I do think it's up, be aware of those. We'll come back to it maybe in April and kind of reanalyze it. What's up, RM LRC? Yep, we got that one a few times now, so all good there. Ben, we got Zill, so all good there as well. And Uncle Monkey, he's got a nice game over. It's game over, man. Game over. All right, Justin Tomiak, last one, man. Last one. All right, last one. Justin Tomiak says, tell him to look at LYXE daily, weekly. All right, better be good, man. Better be good. LYXE, let's see. Daily, weekly. Okay. It's quite dramatic comment, man. Don't know what to do with that, but hopefully a joke. Anyways, daily and weekly. Okay, it's actually certainly not a bad long-term chart, actually. Quite good, if anything, but short term, what are we looking at right here? I mean, here's the thing: it is relatively weak. You're still operating on lower highs, and I wouldn't call it just yet. But hey, if you do see any sort of a daily closure below like $14.50, I'd call a major fucking. It's not even a bull trap. I mean, this is still just downside, but I'd call major downside from there back down to like $11.50. Until then, I think that you got a chance here. Going more off of market analysis than individualistic analysis, but need to see it close back above this last little swing high right here, which is 17.5 to 17. Let's just call it 17.5 on like a daily or higher. At that point, I do look for rallies into the shallow 20s, but for right now, definitely on the weaker side, short term, man. So would be a little bit concerned with that actually. I wouldn't call it bad until below about 14.5. But if Bitcoin shows any weakness here, I suspect that this one's probably not going to operate too well. and the monthly certainly not not like a lot of the other ones as well. Anyways, I appreciate that. Ultimate Gandhi, I appreciate that, man. The 7-Eleven coffee. Yeah, it's like the equivalent of 7-Eleven coffee. I'm very easy to please, man. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for today. Kind of wrapping up my thoughts on Bitcoin, a little bit of short-term sideways, probably does try again towards the highs of yesterday, but I would not call continuation just yet until Bitcoin's back up about 48.5. I do think that if Bitcoin's going to end up being bullish, which again, for the reasons that we spoke about earlier, I do think it's more likely. We do kind of expect this move to happen probably at latest by end of Thursday for US market close. And of course, as always, it needs to be major invalidations. Short term is below 46. Let me bring my chart right here. And the big one, like the big bull trap confirmation for myself, would be below 44.5 on a higher term time frame closure. And what's up, Jesus? Sweet, man. You're excited to start the program. Sweet, man. Yeah. Take it slow. Don't let it overwhelm you. When it comes to the programs, I kind of overlay or outline what I think, is like the right way to learn them, or at least the best way that we've kind of noticed for most people, in one of the first videos. But basically it comes down to this: take it slow. Don't trade a real account while you're learning, trade a demo account while you're learning so that you don't risk your equity. And then, if you have no idea what sort of a trader you might be, then it's a good idea to not kind of skip around, but to actually just watch the program in the order that things are put there. But if you do have kind of a bit of experience and you kind of know, hey, I'm more of like a long-term guy, I like to hold things in swing trade, then you can go into the videos that make more sense for that. If you're vice versa for like a short-term scalper, obviously do the same thing there as well. But it is intended to kind of go through one at a time and then pick and choose like a buffet. It's like, okay, well, I think I kind of align a little bit more like this style, so I'll pick this sort of, indicator and match it up with this sort of a strategy here. So yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to be signing off now. It's been another pleasure speaking with you on this Wednesday morning from a rather bright Helsinki. Weather's had a reversal here too. I hope everyone's having a nice little week going on right now. It's been a fun last couple weeks, actually, especially during the more quiet times. A lot of things are actually happening. So with that said, take care, and signing off, and see you on Friday.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate.